Hello and welcome. I'm Amritan Shira and you're watching Law of the Land on Raj Sabha TV. Today we bring to you the recently passed the Insurance Laws Amendment Bill 2015. To discuss the issue, I have with me Mr. Mukesh Jain, Vice President, Bajaj Capital Insurance Broking Limited, and Mr. Vivek Saxena, Secretary, Oriental Insurance Employees Association. The Insurance Laws Amendment Bill 2015 seeks to increase foreign direct investment in the general insurance sector to 49% from existing 26%. The bill also allows entry of foreign reinsurers. Reinsurers are companies that insure insurance companies. The bill makes it mandatory for insurance companies to be registered before starting operation.
Health policy seekers may stand to benefit from the proposed changes in the definition of health insurance in the Insurance Laws Amendment Bill. The bill provides for General Insurance Corporation, the National Insurance Company Limited, the New India Assurance Company Limited, Oriental Insurance Company Limited and the United India Insurance Company Limited to raise capital with permission of the central government.
More than 80% population is not covered under health insurance or life insurance. So a lot of things are to be done, in fact, as regards the insurance of to cover everybody under the insurance. So this increase in the FDI limit will definitely be very helpful.
The Insurance Laws Amendment Bill defines health insurance separately. It includes medical, surgical and hospitalization costs related to inpatient and outpatient treatment. The bill defines the companies established or incorporated under the law of any country outside India as a foreign company. The bill specifies the minimum equity capital that various insurance businesses must maintain. Companies or cooperative societies in the life or general insurance business must have a minimum quality equity capital of 1,000 crore rupees, while those in health insurance must have a minimum equity capital of 50 crore rupees. The bill provides for policyholders to assign or transfer the rights enjoyed by them to others subject to their certain conditions. The bill expands the window within which the policies can be called into question to 3 years term. In the case of insurance cancel policy, premium collected must be returned within 90 days. Any insurer who fails to meet their obligations will face a fine of 25 crore rupees.
99 में क्या हुआ था कि इन्होंने एक एजेंट्स रेगुलेशन IRDA ने बनाया था और उनका एक एक्ट बना था और उससे पहले एजेंट्स सिर्फ एक 20 रुपए की पर्ची कटाते थे कंट्रोल ऑफ इंश्योरेंस से और एजेंट कोई भी बन सकता था. तो एजेंसी जो है इंडिया में इट वाज टोटली अनप्रोफेशनल एट दैट टाइम. बट पिछले 15 साल में एजेंसी रेगुलेशन आने से उसमें काफ़ी डिसिप्लिन आया था. प्रेस्क्राइब्ड सिलेबस था, एग्जाम पास करना पड़ता था एजेंट्स को, तो एक प्रोफेशनलिज्म बढ़ा था एजेंट्स में और इस अमेंडमेंट के साथ उन्होंने वो उसको खत्म कर दिया है.
No person shall take out or renew a policy of insurance in respect of any property in India or any ship or any other vessel or aircraft registered in India with an insurer whose principal place of business is outside India. Without the permission of IRDA, he may end up incurring a fine up to 5 crore rupees. Government believes that the empowered IRDA will be able to regulate and monitor all the practices and malpractices of public and private sector insurance companies and maintain balance in the insurance sector. With camera person Ashwini, Rajkamal Rao, Rajya Sabha TV.
The life insurance company dominates the life insurance market with 76% share in premium income and 81% in number of policies. Now, both the GIC and the LIC, both of these companies, sir, are very sound companies, are really doing well, and the most important, are working in the social inclusion area. Is there a need for them to go in for foreign capital or foreign direct investment?
There is no need of capital or especially FDI in case of insurance as far as public sector is concerned, whether it is LIC or GIC, because we don't require funds to invest in plants and machinery or like airlines industry in aeroplanes. We need to take this insurance to the remotest area, which we have already done. Every district headquarter, we have got a shop or you can say establishment as per the financial inclusion program of the Ministry of Finance. We have got 6,000, more than 6,500, around 7,000 offices across the country. And over the past 2 years, we have opened around 2,000, more than 2,000 single man office extension counters. So FDI is not required because what we will do...
Implication of this, implication of 26 to 49 on the
public sector, implication will be that our competition will increase. Because the large insurances which the four companies were doing, now private companies, because their risk retention capacity will increase, they will also be able to do. So our competition will increase. But we are not fearful of that.
So there will be more stress on you to perform better.
There will be more stress. That is why we are saying there should be a level playing field. The government companies should be given more autonomy. There should not be political directors on our board. There should be professionals on our board. There should be less interference from the ministry. We should be given more autonomy so that we are able to serve the public. That is our motto.
Mandate.
Mandate. And we are...
Do you think the private sector will be able to serve the purpose of social inclusion with the help of foreign direct investment?
I have my own doubts. Because
I'll bring in Mr. Jain. Foreign direct investment for you is music.
Yes,
to your ears.
To the music, yeah.
It's music to your ears,
yes.
I said. So, which essentially means it's good for the private sector.
Yes.
How do you see it really helping the private sector?
Basically, we believe it's good for both the sectors, private and the government sector, PSU sector, both. For private sector, it brings in the capital inflow, which is very much required to expand the business, to increase the penetration. And this will also help us in the level playing field. The private sector companies have been starving for capital inflow, and they could not get with the market. With this 49% in place, now they will be able to get capital from the market, and that will help us improving the solvency ratios, expanding the business, opening more offices, and also getting new partners, or maybe with a higher share, which will certainly bring in the capital along with the technology, the new products.
It will improve your efficiency. But will it serve the purpose of social inclusion?
Yes, it will help there also, because if you would have known that in the past several years, there are several private companies which are participating in Rashtriya Bima Yojana, which is also a social inclusion instrument, and they are also doing a lot of rural business. So this 49% additional inflow of the capital will help us in tapping more rural business and expanding the business, and ultimately the reaching to the masses.
The next point is, it is being argued that insurance business being capital intensive, the Indian partners lack resource to expand the business. Is that true for the PSUs?
No, it is not true. As I told you earlier, we don't require capital. We have enough funds. In fact, the public sector insurance companies are driving the stock market. We are contributing to the infrastructure development of the country. Recently, LIC has announced 1,50,000 crores they will be investing in railways.
Right.
So we have enough funds, we are investing. We are earning a lot of money through investment. We just want to increase our premium income.
What is the argument for technology upgradation, new way of doing business, these information and knowledge coming in to the insurance business? Do you see that as a threat? Because somewhere or the other, it's going to encroach on your area, which is your market area.
No, that is not an issue, because private sector companies are there in the market for last 15 years, and they are having foreign partners. 26 to 49, 26 was not a bar for bringing in the technology or the product knowledge. It is already there in India, and it is very much available with the public sector insurance companies. As far as technology, IT is concerned, we are supposed to be the leader in that. As Oriental Insurance, we are leader in IT, and we are having reached through IT the remotest part of the country.
So do you see this really enhancing employment in the insurance sector, this FDI from 26 to 49? Will it really engage more people from India?
Yes. Certainly, yes.
Do you think that is the focus of this bill?
This is one of the reasons, one of the triggering factor, one of the incentive which will come along with FDI. So people will be able to employ more people because they want expansion, they want to increase the penetration, they want to reach to the masses, so they need the people. in all the sectors, whether it's agent, whether it's brokers, whether it's insurance companies, their employees, their marketing force, sales force, everywhere people will need the people.
On the technology aspect, how do you see, what is it that you will get, or the new way of doing business? What is the gain on that part that you think?
Yes, if you see the last 15 years period, there was a PSU, there were only 4 PSU players in the year 2000, about those time. Then the private players came to the market. So they bring a lot of technology. It has done the improvement to the market. If you see the services, they have improved a lot in last 10 years, 15 years. Now the time has come to the next stage and the next phase. The new FDI will bring in more money to the market, so they will be able to further increase and enhance the technology, the product, the innovation, and they will be further superior, further better than what they have been doing in the last 10 years.
Benefits to the person who buys the insurance?
Yes. The benefit will be the new product, the new technology, the innovation in the product, and the product which are not available in the market will also be coming in the market.
You think there are new products that can still come in, and that ones that don't exist now?
No. We already had more than 150 products in our pocket, which we are offering. Problem is not those number of products or the technology. Problem is the paying capacity of the public. We have to take it to the remotest corner of the country. We have opened offices where our ME is 1 lakh rupees per month, and we are getting a premium of hardly 5,000, 10,000, which no private company will ever do. This can be achieved only through government companies. We are offsetting that cost through other insurances. But private sector company will never do that. It has to be unit-based costing they will be doing. So that penetration over the 15 years, it has not increased much. Hardly there is any difference in the penetration, which can be achieved only through public sector companies, and public sector companies need to be strengthened by the government. Then only penetration will increase and insurance product will reach to the
last man in the line.
Last man in the line. Yeah.
Agents who do not have the approval of the insurance regulator IRDAI will not be eligible to receive any sort of payouts. And if this happens, the insurance company will be held accountable. Government has expanded the role of the regulator IRDAI to control private insurance companies, malpractices, and protect public sector insurance companies.
No person will pay or contract to pay any remuneration or reward by way of commission or otherwise for procuring insurance business in India to any person except an insurance agent authorized by the Insurance Regulatory and Development Authority. The insurance bill passed by Parliament has given more teeth to IRDAI to maintain level playing field between private and public sector insurance companies.
At present, their shareholding is more than 75% because earlier threshold was 24%. Now once it is 49%. So there are 2-3 options. They bring in additional money that can be by way of additional capital, or to some extent existing bank, they may dilute their stake and get that money. And further idea is once they show profits and their balance sheets are good, they may go public also.
As per the bill, the method and amount of remuneration paid or received by way of commission to insurance brokers, reinsurance brokers, insurance consultants, cooperative agents, corporate agents and other professionals involved in will be decided by the Insurance Regulatory Development Authority. The bill authorizes IRDAI to suspend or cancel the registration of any insurer if the insurer fails to maintain an excess value of assets over the amount of liabilities of not less than 50%. Or if the authority has reason to believe that any claim upon the insurer arising in India remains unpaid for 3 months after a final judgment in the regular court of law, or insurer fails to pay the annual fee. According to the bill, any transfer, merger of 2 insurance businesses must have the approval of the regulator. It will be mandatory for every insurer transacting insurance business in India to furnish the details of expenses management specified by IRDAI.
पब्लिक सेक्टर अभी तक जितने बड़े इंश्योरेंस थे वो सिर्फ पब्लिक सेक्टर अभी तक करता रहा है, क्योंकि प्राइवेट कंपनीज का रिस्क जो कैपेसिटी है वो नहीं है. तो अभी एफडीआई बढ़ने से हम उम्मीद कर रहे हैं वो बढ़ेगा. तो अगर वो बढ़ेगा तो पब्लिक सेक्टर का जो बड़े इंश्योरेंस का शेयर है वो कम हो सकता है.
If a person carries on business of insurance without obtaining a certificate of registration, will be liable to a penalty of maximum 25 crore rupees and with imprisonment which may extend to 10 years. If any insurer makes investments without keeping a minimum required capital amount to pay back to insurer seekers or makes investments in unauthorized securities, will be liable to a penalty not exceeding 25 crore rupees. Despite several efforts made by both government and public sector insurance companies, insurance penetration levels are at very low in our country. Government believes and hopes that this 49% increase in FDI will encourage private sector companies to increase the penetration levels in the country. With camera person Ashwini, Rajkamal Rao, Rajya Sabha TV.
The bill provides for appeals against decisions by IRDA to lie with the Securities Appellate Tribunal, SAT. This is in line with the recommendations made by the KP Narasimhan Committee. Since SAT currently deals with issues related to the capital markets only, its expertise in dealing with matters of insurance law may be limited. Now, what we are looking at, Mr. Jain, my question to you is, what we are looking at is more powers empowering the regulator, the insurance regulator, to the extent that it really makes the business environment tough for you. There are various checks on all levels, where you can take your money, where you cannot, who you can bring in, whom you cannot, who will be the trainer, who will not, and where the appeal lies. Do you see your advantage of the FDI limit being expanded has been compromised by empowering the regulator?
Actually, this is not to be viewed in this way. Regulator's job is to regulate the industry and do the development at the same time. So if they need some power and some authority, it's fine to be given to them. But they also have to see that it's rational, it does not affect the stakeholders, and it anyway contributes to the...
But they've been given huge powers in this bill.
Actually, powers for all the regulators are given all over the world. So giving power is not the issue. The issue is that the power should be used for the benefit of the industry, for all the stakeholders and the development of the industry as a whole.
Okay. The second is, the government did not change the management expense, which is the clause 40C, which
Yes.
he said. 19.5 is the management expense quota.
Yes.
The government not touching that, do you see it as good for you, because that is where you think you have some leverage to make extra money, even if the regulator is really tough now and you've got FDI?
We don't see a problem there also. It basically depends upon the insurance company and the government to decide and the regulator to regulate that. As long as they are happy and comfortable with the limits, we have no objection to that. The only thing is that it should not affect the other areas like remuneration to the distribution channels and their other expenses. If they can manage within those limits, we are fine with that.
Why did the PSU insurers want that this should be brought down? 19.5 management expense should be brought down to a lesser or whatever limit. But the government did not change it. Why do you want that?
No, in this act, what they are doing is they are giving this power to IRDA to change this. But our concern was that this section should be abolished from the act, because this was introduced in 1938. When private companies were there were 108 private companies in general insurance sector at that time in India in 73. And this section was brought in to curtail the management expenses of the private sector.
To cap it.
To cap it. This is not relevant for government of companies and even to private companies in today's context, because those solvency margins were not there at that time. So those regulations were not there, now they are in place. So there is no relevance of this.
So if it is done away with, then whether it be the PSU insurer or whether it be the private sector, they can go to any extent to show management expense?
No, management expenses, like private sector, there is no problem. In public sector, problem is whenever we go for increase in wages, they say your management expenses is high. So that comes a hindrance in our HR activities, in compensation. So we wanted that to be removed. because there is no relevance.
To allow
That
you
is
to
the-
basically grow in terms of
yeah,
human resource and
yeah,
more
because
value.
it is ultimately a service industry.
Correct.
It has to, no technology, nothing is required. It is only human which has to perform. So unless you have a proper HR practices, proper compensation in the companies, you will not get the results.
Correct. Another, the pricing mechanism, anything that you would like to talk about? There is no such point.
The management expenses,
No, the pricing mechanism.
yeah, the pricing mechanism is basically a market driven, should be market driven. There was a tariff which was abolished some time ago. Now there are companies who are talking about the pricing on burning cost. The regulator has also recommended the burning cost factor. We think that it's a good idea. It will help companies to price the product in a very rational and very professional way.
What is your take on this?
In India, prior to nationalization, Tariff Advisory Committee was the entity who was doing the pricing, who was collecting the data, claims data, ME, everything, and they were doing the pricing. Last pricing was done, as I remember, it was in 98 by TSE. And with the introduction of the private sector, it was slashed by almost 50% in 99-2000. And then again 2005, 2007, de-tariffing took place. It was called de-tariffing, but it was basically discounting.
Okay.
Again discounting, and we are giving discount up to 99% also. So our concern is that we should have a pricing mechanism so that we do not become another airline industry. Pricing should be a
It has not been addressed.
It should be market driven, but not to the extent that the whole industry will not survive.
So has it been addressed or not?
No, it has not been addressed because TSE has been abolished by IRDA. IRDA has constituted a entity called IIB, Insurance Information Bureau. They are collecting the data, but ultimately pricing, who will be doing, it is not known, and each company should do. In foreign companies, they are doing pricing on weekly basis.
Okay.
What should be the price of motor insurance next week? They are deciding on this Saturday.
But also, Ms., I would like to bring you in on the empowerment of IRDA, the regulator. Does that help your cause, the public sector cause, which is the social inclusion mandate that you have? Does that help your cause, and does it somehow deter the private sector or try and regulate the private sector to not overtake the PSU?
No, IRDA is a regulator, but there are regulators like SEBI, RBI is there, but still Sarda and Sahara cases have been happening, Kingfisher, SpiceJet has been happening. In insurance sector also, there was a crop insurance scheme, it is still there. It was done by one of the major private sector companies also, but a lot of frauds were there because subsidy was given by the government and that subsidy was eaten away. So still CBI is doing some inquiry in that. It was there in the media, out of media reports only I am speaking. So regulator has to be very strict. It is there. But regulator should be unbiased. Neither it should be in the favor of private sector, nor it should be in the favor of the public sector. One example I'll quote, when this broker regulation was brought in, before that there was a provision of 5% discount to the direct public. If you come as a direct customer, we will give you 5%, but that was withdrawn by the IRDA, which we think is not in the interest of the public.
But that's an ongoing process of evolution that the insurance sector will have to deal with on a day-to-day basis. Moving on, sir, the bill provides for appeals against decision by RDA to lie with the Securities Appellate Tribunal, SAT. This is in line with the recommendations made by the KP Narasimhan Committee. Since SAT currently deals with the issue related to the capital markets only, it is expertise in dealing with matters of insurance law may be limited. Moving on, my colleague Raj Kamal Rao spoke to Mr. A.K. Narang, Vice President, Insurance Brokers Association of India, and tried to get his point of view.
Basically, there are many representations made by intermediaries and agents that the commission paid in this segment are not matching the work done by them, and there is also not security. If a person is earning and once he is not able to do that business, so he is not getting that renewal commission, because when he is earning, he is getting. So this attracts that there must be some attraction to the sales force, whether it is agent or the broker or any other means are used. So they can focus on it and give a proper delivery of the services.
Thank you, sir, for joining us on this discussion. It's time for us to end the show. You can email your suggestions and comments to law.rstv@gmail.com. You can also watch our shows on the RSTV page of YouTube. We'll be back with a new issue and a new episode. Keep watching Raj Sabha TV.
Malnutrition affects the brain even across generations. We have an integrated brain mapping and brain imaging complex which identified how the various circuits of the human brain work and function. A focus on science is a very important investment for the future.
Watch the best scientific minds come together and unlock the achievements of the scientific personas of the country. Only on Rajya Sabha television.
बीजेपी की बैठक खत्म। क्या निकला सार? किस पर रहेगा जोर?
भारत का तिरंगा झंडा राष्ट्र के विकास के लिए हमें प्रेरणा देता है और उन्हीं 4 रंगों से चतुर्रंगी क्रांति के साथ हमें देश को नई ऊंचाइयों पर ले जाना चाहिए।
देखिए पहली खबर, बीजेपी की बैठक आज शाम 7 बजे और रात 8 बजे।
नमस्कार, स्वागत है आप सबका दिन भर की तमाम बड़ी और अहम खबरों के साथ। मैं हूं कवींद्र। शुरुआत हेडलाइन से। भूमि अधिग्रहण विधेयक पारित कराने पर अड़े केंद्र सरकार, बीजेपी नेता करेंगे गांवों का दौरा।